Welcome back. It is Friday night, which means it is time to turn our attention to our New Yorker of the Week. Tonight, we honor a man who's using media in a positive way to help highlight issues facing LGBT youth. Take a look.
This is OutCasting, where you don't have to be queer to be here.
I grew up thinking that being gay was the worst thing possible. At that time in the 60s and 70s, there was almost no media. I felt totally isolated.
That feeling of isolation became Marc Sophos' catalyst to do something to help others struggling with the loneliness of growing up as a gay youth. With few media outlets covering LGBT issues, Marc thought his love of radio could be the answer.
My parents gave me this little transmitter that could broadcast around the block for Christmas the year I was 10, and that was the beginning of the radio station. The idea of providing a voice to people who don't have a voice,
See it as,
or have a voice but have no way to express it, is something that gives me a great deal of satisfaction.
Today, Marc produces OutCasting, what he bills as the only LGBT youth program on public radio in the country. It airs on WDFH FM in the Hudson Valley and online, and is produced with a team of teenage volunteers.
I think a program like that could have helped me when I was struggling with coming out. There's a lot of misunderstanding of what it means to be LGBT in today's society.
Part of the problem, he says, is that news coverage is driven by events of suicides and bullying.
We hear when a youngster takes his or her life. You know, we see the candlelight vigil, we hear the distraught friends, but we don't really ever hear about what that person's life was like. And, you know, what were the pressures that led to that act? You know, what does it really mean to be an LGBT youth?
OutCasting seeks to change the mainstream one show at a time.
I don't hear the radio speaking about people like me that are just normal out teens, and just talking to people about like sex ed and relationships has really helped me.
And so, for using the airwaves to bring LGBT youth issues to the ears of New Yorkers,
I'm Travis.
Marc Sophos is our New Yorker of the Week. And joining me now in studio is Marc Sophos, our New Yorker of the Week. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much, John.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Congrats on being our New Yorker of the Week.
Terrific.
Let's start by talking about your love of radio. It developed at a young age. What influenced it?
Growing up in a house where there was a tape recorder. And I learned how to operate it when I was about 2 and figured out electricity when I was about 6, and then radio happened and there were no wires, and that contradicted everything I knew about how signals passed. So that was the beginning of it.
And your parents played a role in your love for music and just being, you know, around the technology and the records playing and that sort.
Well, they're both professional musicians. My father was a cellist with the Philharmonic and the NBC Symphony, and my mom's a piano teacher. So, you know, it was a very musical household. I'm also a pianist, and so that's how it got started.
So, but you also had some struggles growing up. Let's talk about that too. The difficulties that you faced. You didn't come out till much later on in life, but what was it like growing up? Were you feeling different at first, and how were you coping with those struggles?
I don't think I was coping well. I mean, I was feeling that there was something very different and not good about me as early as about 3. And that feeling sort of haunted me for my entire life. And it wasn't until about 15 years ago that I finally, with the help of a very good friend, dealt with it.
You also then connect the pieces, your love of radio, your struggles as a child into your adulthood, and you merge the two into your current project and profession. So what sparked the initial idea?
It was actually a conversation with the foundation, and they were asking what we could do as a radio station, as like the only public radio station in the lower Hudson Valley, to serve underrepresented constituencies. And then I had this idea about doing a show geared around LGBT youth, and developed that a little bit and talked with them about it. And then we lost our studios and had to basically suspend operation for several years. But a year and a half we started again, and I started going to gay straight alliances in local high schools, and we got a group of kids and started working with them last summer.
So when you're first making the new pitch, how'd it go over?
It was great. I mean, everybody that we talked to was really excited about it, and we've had a really terrific core group of kids working on it. We're hoping to get some more kids involved over the summer, but it's a wonderful group of people, and I'm just so lucky to be working with them.
And you mentioned that there may be some fundraising issues right now. What's going on with the...
Yeah, well, it's a very difficult time for the station. We are urgently in need of funding. Everything's tax deductible, and there's information on our website, WDFH.org. But it's a difficult time for independent local media. There's a lot of consolidation going on in the media, and that's been enabled by deregulation that started back in the 80s. And so, you know, what we're really, you know, driving to raise money, you know, trying to find possible major donors, but anybody can donate at our website or by sending a check or whatever. And we have actually a benefit concert coming up on June 30th, and the information for that's also on the website.
The website is also now going to be on our screen for our viewers.
Terrific.
It is WDFH.org. So people can find out more about the program, a little bit more about you, I hope, and also about the fundraising efforts that are currently underway. Marc Sophos, our New Yorker of the Week.
Thank you, John.
Congrats to you, and thanks for coming in. Thanks. Appreciate your time. Once again, if you'd like more information, you can go to WDFH.org. And if you know someone who would make a good New Yorker of the Week, let us know. Email NYER@NY1.com or mail a letter to New Yorker of the Week, 75 9th Avenue. We're on the 6th floor, New York, New York 10011. That's all the time we have for now. I'm John Shumo, and I'll talk with you on Monday.